Gonna get weird tonight. Get a few beers flowing, a few whiskeys down. Talk about why this world may be going round. I went to school up in Flagstaff, and I got this 4-bedroom house. Me and my buddies, man, we were ready to run amok. You know, we went to this little college town straight out of high school. Man, we were ready to party. We got this house, and right out my window, I could step onto a roof. I remember it'd be early morning, man, after a night of causing some ruckus. I'd sit out there and just jam on my guitar, and you know, it was epic. It was just epic. Wake up in the morning, stroll out of bed. I start the van up. Man, I'm heading to the beach, and here we go. Trying to sing, and I never really do, but I'm on the guitar, and I got cameras pointed at me. I'm trying to get comfortable, so I just gotta keep talking. When I'm talking, I gotta play, and when I play, I gotta sing, and when I sing, I gotta think of the words in my head and lay it down like it's a poetry that I'm trying to spook up off the town. And what do I say? I say, say, I'm gonna start the band, gonna start the burning band. Hey, 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 yeah, hey, 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 what you gonna say? Hey, 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 hey. Wake up and enjoy the day, wake up and fade away. I'm up in the clouds and I'm looking up and down. Hey, what you know, yeah, how you fucking know, man, how you grow, how you grew, it's in the mood, up in the sky. I said I'm up in the sky. I'm playing my strings, and I love to sing. Hey, hey, hey. Nice. Beautiful little spot.
Thank you, dude. That was a fun little session we just had to cruise on the guitar, bro.
Good times, good moments, man. Love it. I just love it.
That was super fun, dude.
That's what it's all about right there, man. Just going with the flow.
Like, what was that even?
You know.
What was that?
I don't know. It's two dudes that are not very instrumental, like singing some tunes, man. You know,
singing some tunes, but that's where it is. I was at a back before the vid. I was at a bar somewhere in Orange County doing something I do not remember, and I was talking to this dude who was a musician who was between sets, and he was hanging out at the bar, fading beers with me. And we were talking about music and. You know, I'm not a musician by any means whatsoever. You know, 100% of the extent of what I can perform on. But we were chatting, and you know, I told him I cruise on the guitar every now and then. And he says, "Well, you know, what do you play? What would you call your sound? What's your feel?" And I was like, I don't think I'm that far along yet, but I would say that I'm just singing more than I'm playing, you know, because I don't know what I'm doing on a guitar. I create just enough noise to get into a flow and then start to think, and then I try to stop thinking, and then I just go.
It's like a pour, you know, just got to pour it out. You know, like we were talking earlier about, you know, when the last time we danced.
Oh, bro.
Dude, you know, singing on the guitar is just like that, man.
It is.
Just letting it flow.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that raw flow.
Move the body.
You know, whether it makes sense or it don't, man, just letting it out.
I love that.
You know? Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Well, yeah, we've had some good moments.
No
jamming
doubt,
out, dude.
Oh man, we've had a lot of good moments. I forget if we go back to how we connected was through Chris, right?
Yeah, Mr.
Originally?
Chris, dude. You know, he started working in the shop down in Beaumont, and you know, he threw me a couple bottles. He's like, "Hey, we got this program going on, man. You know, we got a lot of good people and a good thing driving it." And, you know, I think we linked through photography and bottles, man.
We first linked. Well, I think you're right. Yeah, and we linked somewhere out in the East County for a book drive. You were stoked on a book drive, and you had some books in your Ranger in your truck, and we linked up. And I was like, dude, come work for us.
Yeah, I remember.
That was an interesting conversation. But then you were in Zona, and then you made your way back to California. We linked up, and it was kind of history from there. And I think we jumped out of an airplane a few days later, didn't we?
Yeah, man. I always forget about that. I mean, you know, we did found each other through a network, and I remember that conversation. It was, it was raw. It was good, and then I think a couple months went by. I kept on sending you photos, and you're like, dude, come on, work. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Which was awesome. And then, next thing you know, we move into the house out in Oceanside. I'm not there more than 48 hours, and I'm jumping out of a plane with a dude that I've talked to maybe 3 times.
Yeah, dude, I'll never forget how that chick that was running the Beat and Berry that like represents Machado.
Yeah.
Represents Machado, and she was just like laying into me, just making fun because I'm so easy to make fun of, dude.
Dude, that lady made some good grilled cheese sandwiches,
She was awesome, dude.
That was funny, man. Used to cruise around town in that old Benz. I loved that thing.
We had some good times, man. There's a lot of things I learned about and from you actually, in getting to know you about your sended attitude, man, is an inspiration for me. Not to get weird, this is not an inspiration podcast at all, dude, but I'm just being real, right? Like,
here to get
honestly.
weird.
Yeah, dude, it's not about that, but that's something that I would say that if someone were to ask me, how would you describe Austin? He's a fucking sender, for sure. For sure, man. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from in your life or what's culminated to bring your head that way. But I will say every experience that I've had with you has been a full on send.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from you too, man. And I think that a little bit of that sended attitude's got to do with I grew up with my brother and 2 of my cousins, my mom's sister's kids, and we grew up in a great little town. And it was either, they were all, Sean's the oldest, he's 4 or 5 years older than me, and
he's your cousin.
Yeah, and then Mikey and Josh, they're about 3 years older than me, and I was the young one. It was either, you keep up or you sit down, chose to keep up.
So is it just a bunch of boys in the house with your mom?
Bunch of boys, man, and my mother and my father blessed us with a ton of opportunity and fun stuff to play with.
Cool.
We were always out cruising, riding bikes. We grew up in a awesome little space, man, out in the Ramona Estates, and it was just
That's right. You're an OG local of San Diego County, aren't you?
Yeah, I grew up here in San Diego, out in the hills, like I said, just out in the Ramona Estates, and it was just this like little bubble that we grew up in out there. It was like, I remember when we were young, like even going to town, like even go to Ramona town, like we were so far out in the estates, and going to town was a mission. Then we didn't even know what was outside of that town. It was just
Ramona was it.
The sheltered, awesome little place to grow up, man.
Wow. Huh.
And like I said, I had some great people there.
You guys would get wild out there in the country,
man.
wouldn't you?
Yeah. Always be the first kid to hit the jump.
Is that right? Still are though, dude.
That's what my buddies would tell you, man.
You still are that guy. Always the first kid to hit the jump, dude.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to go hit a jump, man. It's been a while. We'd build it. If Austin hits it, makes it, everyone's cruising it.
Damn, dude. How many stories came out of that?
We just had this, out in Ramona, it was cool. Like we had land, dude. We had places to roam, things to see, things to pick up and feel and touch and experience. We grew up like right out like this cool little high mountain desert we just had open space. It was awesome. And one of my buddies, Mike Jones, and his family, man, they got this sick compound. They got the horses, the whole, raised pigs, the land, the shops, the whole sweet program, sweet people, man. His dad was my baseball coach, and he was just this dude that's just full of wisdom. Just, he lived it. He went through it, and he just had so much wisdom, and it passed down throughout all of his kids. And he used to hop in the tractor, and we had this plot where they had a whole, rutted out motorcycle track up top. But I mean, this is sick piece of land, and he used to just push these huge mounds of dirt together.
Just run amok out there.
Yeah,
I bet,
dude. We're like, 10 years old, sending off these big old kickers.
Damn. Yeah. On a motorbike or a pedal bike? Bicycles.
Yeah.
I remember that. We used to do it down in a city called Port Neches. So we live in the bayou, which is not the same landscape by any means. So it's marshland, rivers, lowlands, muck.
Down in southeast
dirty.
Texas,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, nasty little stinky marsh. You know what I'm saying? If you see lagoons around here with the weeds and the bamboo growing nice and thick in the lowlands of coastal region here,
similar.
It's about as close as you can get. But if you haven't been to that part of the area, most folks kind of know Florida for the lowlands and the marsh, or if you've ever been to Louisiana. And that's what it's like where I grew up. So basically you could do anything and get in a lot of trouble. But trouble was only like to the extent that you were witnessed doing the shit that you were doing, because no one was around to fucking see you do it.
There's no phone to record it.
No, dude, no. But no, you were just so far off the beaten path, like what you're describing. You could just do whatever you want, and you learn a lot about yourself and about each other and about life and what you're capable of and not capable of in a situation like that, man.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Being surrounded by some boys, though, that's probably gnarly. I was an only child, so it was kind of like running solo show.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up with your brother? Josh is a nard too, dude. He's a sender.
Josh is he's a hard-working man, dude. He's a good guy.
I see that.
And same with my two cousins, man. We're just good peoples. We're good peoples and very fortunate. We grew up in this kind of a small town, relatively a small town of Ramona, and baseball was always a thing, and it was just this tight-knit baseball community that we grew up in, and we had all these buddies, and it was a good time to be alive back then, dude. It was really, really fun, and I was really fortunate to grow up in the town and the people that I grew up with. Good wisdom being passed down too, man. Like there's a handful of dudes that when I still see them, I call them Coach. What's up, Coach Roy? What's up? Coach T. Coach Glenn. Coach Jones. And then baseball was a big part of of growing up. Yeah.
And then water polo you played pretty.
Yeah, played polo in high school. The baseball program wasn't really fit for me. When I got into high school, I kind of started getting into the good stuff. And
what are the good stuff, dude?
High school was a great experience for me, man. I don't know if it was luck or what it was, but I had a great time in high school.
I went to 5 high schools. Yeah. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? That's tough. So I love hearing people tell stories about how like that bitchin' experience of high school and friends that are the same friends through high school you get in and out of trouble with and share really bitchin' experiences with over and over and over again. You get to be close. I've met some of your buddies, I think, from high school, either in the water or in passing.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I really lucked out. When I was entering high school, Josh was a senior, Mikey was a senior, all of Josh's buddies, which I grew up playing ball with. So I was already kind of integrated in this little bubble and network of the older folk. And their year 2012, man, they knew how to party and they knew how to have fun, and it was just this awesome.
That's right. I remember you were hanging out with the older kids, right?
Yeah, it was kind of. I don't think diverse is the right word, but kind of hung out with all levels, man. It was got thrown right in the mix and made the best of it. Made a lot of mistakes that make me who I am today, and I regret things from high school. But looking back, man, I lived it up. It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. Growing up out in East California, or East County, San Diego, I should say, not East California, but you got a chance to get in the water.
Yeah, man.
When I think about that, having moved now to California, dude, it's a dream here. We live in paradise, but it's from remote out to the coast for a surf was an hour.
No, dude, probably 45 minutes, 40 minutes, and you cruise down the hill, push through Poway, hop on the 56. I could be at 11th Street in, probably 35 minutes.
That was the straightest shot.
Yeah, I didn't really start surfing. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad used to throw me on the log out in Tourmaline every once in a while, but he'd sit there reading the newspaper, drink coffee, and I'd, just paddle out and figure it out. I just had to figure it out. It was that's the kind of program I was on. It was like, here's a bike, figure it out. You want to skate? Here's a skateboard, figure it out. Here's a surfboard, go figure it out, But then, baseball kind of ran things as a kid. And then when I got into high school, I started playing water polo. And I got to be a good buddy with Alec Grebe, which is one of my brother's older buddies. He was a 2012 kid. And him and a few other kids were surfing. There wasn't too many surfers in Ramona. And we started jamming. Alec had this piece of shit little Nissan truck, and we used to load up in that thing, smoke these like black and mild, like it was just out. And then we just started surfing, man, and got hooked. And it was pretty much once we figured out like that was the thing we wanted to do. We just got going every chance we could. We'd load up, we'd save our money throughout the week for some gas, and we'd send it to the beach. It was the getaway. It was awesome. And now that I've moved down here and started surfing practically anytime I want to, it's a part of me. I'll always surf.
Dude, you were like 40 days straight or something. I was like recently. I don't know about 40 days, bro. You like surf back to back just these last couple weeks before you got sick.
Find the time, dude.
Bro.
Especially when it's on, dude. You got to get it while it's getting good.
Totally.
You got it.
I'm just a few blocks away. It's got to happen. You got to get in the water.
Yeah. Especially you right here,
it's
dude.
a cleanse, too. It's a cleanse.
It is. And I'm kind of on the program. I wake up early. I get to work. When noon rolls around, 1 o'clock rolls around, when that tide's draining down in Cardiff and those reefs dry up, that's when I'm hunting. And it's like, if I don't surf, it's like that night, I don't have any creative push. Like, I like to work at night. And when I don't surf in that 1 to 4 o'clock pocket, that night, I'm useless when it comes to creativity and pushing out work. But when I do surf, it's like you said, it's just a reset.
Yeah.
It's like
you got the formula down, bro.
Get out there for a few hours and then, get back home and get back to work.
What do you think that is, man?
I think it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like, I really like the job that I have. I love working with the people that I work with. I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm surrounded by great individuals. I got a great product that I sell in a great industry that's full of innovation and just endless amounts of things to learn. And I like it, and I want it to keep happening. So I wake up, I work hard, and I also know that I love surfing, so I fit that in. And then when I get back home, I get back at it, because the next day I want to be able to send out stuff on deliverables. Be like, yeah, I was up working. Like, I'm here to work. I'm here to add value to the program we're working on here.
You think it's as simple as that? What's the ocean doing for you, bro?
No, what's the ocean doing for me? The ocean.
What I'm saying, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? I mean, you going to go for a run? All right, so surf's your thing. Some people get up and they put on their stretchy pants and they go to the gym, or they go downstairs, or wherever they're working out right now. They go for a run. They get their escape. That's their thing, right? We got our things that allow us to push through the things that are kind of building up inside of us, and we get a chance, if we allow ourselves or choose to release the buildup of the things that I feel like it's this capacity. We have a capacity for information and stuff, and there's got to be a purge daily to allow us to let other kind of information and energy in, or to release out, to make room for what's next. Like, maybe it's that creative thinking. But when you're saying, like, you got to get that surf in, otherwise you're not creative at night, and that's the time of the day that you can, like, really kind of turn it on sometimes, or most of the time. And then the daytime is for the meetings. How do I share my creative thoughts that I've heard, or that I put together through the evening? But if you don't get that surfing, what is it? What's that connectivity? What is that thing that we get from? Is it exertion? What is it for you, man? Do you think?
You know, that's a tough one there. You know, I think really what it is just it's purpose. You know, it's finding the time to take advantage of the time that we have here. You know, it's like, yeah, like I got these responsibilities that I got to take care of, and I got to do these things, so I have really the money to handle these responsibilities. So like, all right, I got 24 hours in a day. It's like, all right, well, I found out that in my program, I got to work 10 hours a day to fill my program, to make my program run. But how can I fit things into that day where I have a purpose and individualize myself and like find the value that's been given to us, like this beautiful land that we live, man. Like we live in the most beautiful place. It's like, dude, I got to take, you know, just taking advantage of what you got and doing what you love. That
having fun, right?
Having fun,
doing the thing, man.
Getting stimulated by natural things. I mean, getting out there and just getting in touch and staying in tune and feeling the thing, feeling the ocean, feeling the land, cruising the van, man. Like just getting out there and doing what you love, you know. And I'm really lucky that I've been able to, you know, navigate my life where I can run a program that I get to fit into things that I love.
No doubt.
You know,
you've created that. Don't not take credit for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Don't not take credit for that.
I struggle with that. I struggle with that.
Yeah. We all do sometimes because
I've been dealt a great hand, bro.
We feel grateful. We feel grateful for I know you do. When I say we, I'm talking about both of us, right? We feel so grateful for the opportunities that have been presented to us. But we can't forget what we've chosen to do about the opportunities that have been presented to us.
Yeah,
we cannot forget that drive, that motivation, that perspective that you just shared with me, dude. That's not always so common. And sometimes we get into a rut and we don't see it because we're trapped in Zona. The four walls of some apartment in the middle of motherfucking nowhere. It's 135 degrees outside. You know what I'm saying?
Been there.
Yeah. And it's hard to see the light, if you will, sometimes. But even then, whenever I would chat with you, you still were, boom, pushing for what's next, pushing for, like, you have a structure, you have a rigor about your perspective on life that's super positive, super duper positive, bro.
My mother.
You think that's where it comes down
she's
to?
A big part of it. Yeah.
I've met her before, and I see that.
Yeah.
She called you an old soul last time I spoke with her. I think that's probably the term that I've heard her say the most when she speaks of you.
Yeah, but she's got a, you know, she's got a point of view on the story that no one else has got, man. She's a good woman.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I attest to that. Yeah, I see that, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Mom, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, man. Well, in all that being said, I'll say that whatever the program and the creation that you put together here over the entire course of having known you, dude, has been an inspiration to me because I don't know anybody in my current circle, and I mean this, man, that charges like you do and charges with the attitude that you do and does it like, I don't know how many people put together a program, as you just stated, where I know what I need to get. I know how to achieve that. So I break that down into steps that absolutely are going to require X, Y, and Z, which equals happy. And you get to do everything you want to do. Am I right?
Yeah.
But you've made that happen.
Yeah.
And therefore, that's the result of that is to bring value to everyone around you and the company you work for and the customers of theirs and yourself and the people around you, right?
Yep.
How old are you now?
I just turned 24 last week.
And you own a house?
Yeah, I just bought a house about 5 months ago.
In California?
Yeah, just about 10, 15 minutes from here. My stepdad and mother helped me buy the house, by the way.
That's all right.
But
how many 24-year-olds are forcing themselves to buy a house or have the ambition or put those goals together? I mean, they're not paying for it.
It's been one of the funnest things I've ever done.
Right?
Yeah.
To own?
to build something that's your own.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's been fun, and I think about things a lot, like what I told you earlier that I kind of struggle with. It's like, all right, I've been dealt this great hand, and sometimes you kind of belittle the growth that you've achieved just because it's like, all right, well, you were given all these great things, but at the same time, and my cousin Mikey really helps me out sometimes, where it's like, yeah, I bought a house. It's like, yeah, I have these, I got a great job because of a connection that I have. And yeah, all these things, but it's like, yeah, you could be given this thing, and what I got to tell myself, it's like, yeah, I had the guts to take that and capitalize on it and move and add, to capitalize on the opportunities that you have.
Where does that come from? Did your mom teach you that, or is that in you?
I think it's really just common sense of probably not, but I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just it's really just me seeing, for instance, my stepdad gave me a great job. I worked my ass off.
He gave you the job?
Well,
or
he didn't
offered
give me
an
the job.
opportunity?
He offered the opportunity.
Right.
I took it.
Right.
I ran with it. I worked my ass off. Next thing you know, one thing leads to another. I'm sitting here with a great job and a potential path on a great career. I could have, and I was young and dumb. I mean, I came out of college, and I was, living life to the fullest in college, just hanging out, not really doing much for setting myself up for the future, really. And then, I came back home, and he's like, hey, I'm starting this company. Here's the opportunity. And I took it, and I showed him, and he's a very connected individual. I showed him, hey, I'm willing to work. Next thing you know, we get out of that business, and he moves, and he's like, hey, you want to come with me? Here's another job. Worked my ass off. And then things just led to another. And in the midst of that, I made myself progress because of the opportunity that came to me.
Sure.
And it's really, really how I try to wake up. I wake up and I had these meetings scheduled, and I jump into this meeting, and it's like really just the drive to learn and progress. It's like, all right, what information can I absorb today? And then take a look at that information and choose how I want to apply that to my life. How can I absorb information today that makes me better tomorrow? And that's kind of the approach that I found myself in these last few years, where I found the most growth in my life. It's really just trying to take it slow. Sometimes you just rush through your day and you're going, and just slow down. I always try to tell myself, and I find myself moving at such a fast pace, and it's like sometimes you just got to slow down and appreciate the little things, and again, back to the core thing that I keep landing on is you're in this position of your life, and you're going through those things. It's like, all right, you're going through this. Here's your day. It's already really laid out for you. A lot of us don't get to decide what we get to do throughout our day. We don't have total freedom. We're on this program that we have to run in order to live our lives. And it's like, all right, here's my program. What can I absorb today in this program and apply to myself to make myself better? And it really started when I started working with you. I got into this job with you, and your creativity and your ability to sit down with someone and be patient with them and show them how to do something. And I mean, when we were working together, the creativity was flowing.
Yeah,
it was great.
I push hard though.
Yeah. And I mean, me, I'm pretty easy to get along. I can get along with anyone. And
I'll be honest, I haven't worked with anyone like you before, and that's why you're so special in my book, dude.
Yeah,
I've worked a lot. I've worked with a lot of people. Like, you do know that I've worked.
Yeah,
with a lot.
You kind of got
your
I don't think double life's the way to go for it, but like when I first met you and we were doing our boogie, like, and then I realized, like, all right, there's a whole like corporate side of Logan. Like it's awesome, and that was inspiring that you were able to. You have. I mean, there's this corporate side of professional Logan where, I mean, this guy knows his stuff, man. Like, he is managing people on a very large scale, building things out for very large corporations, some of the largest in the world. And he still finds the time to work with some teenage kid on a philanthropy project through reusable water bottles. Like,
at the time I didn't really see the situation that I was in, but looking back at it, and I don't think we missed out. I mean, you
nailed it.
We were
you know what was going
we were
on.
catching it all.
Absolutely.
But looking back at it, that was a big part of my life.
And it's still an ongoing and will be a thriving program because the foundation was developed through the source of what exactly that you're talking about right now.
And to watch you evolve, like again, like I told Dave when I walked in here, like I remember walking through this door with you the first time, parked the Mercedes outside.
The poo-poo brown floors.
Dude, yeah, the floor was stinky. There was like a big cooler right here, like, and like I told Dave earlier, man, we walked in here, and I was kind of just I was just riding along that day, but I watched you, and you came in here and you saw it. Like it was already all, like you weren't too sure what it was gonna be, but you were like, all right, this is a good space.
Yeah, it's been fun, dude. It's been a really bitchin' project, and I couldn't have done it without you, bro. You know that, right?
This place is awesome.
But you do know, like, couldn't have done it without you. The inspiration that you bring to the table, and I'm gonna say it again, man. I've never worked with anyone like you. You know what I'm saying? That's driven me in a way through inspiration where you make it possible. You gave me hope in a generation. You gave me hope in people and young people, which, don't get me wrong, like I'm not a Debbie Downer about young people or a generation or millennials or what have you, but I have my things about, like, generational profiling is a real thing. I mean, generations see things differently. It is who we are. It is our upbringing. It's our conditioning. It's our culture. When I met you, it was an interesting mix mash of value inside of a human that I didn't quite gather or understand where it came from, and that's why I invested the time. Not to say I don't invest my time in other folks that I see value in different ways, but what I would like to say is you have a sense of confidence that you bring to the table that's unlike anything that I have experienced before in a young person, right? And it's not a false confidence is the interesting thing about it. And that is a thing that is very unique, and I don't know where it comes from, but all of the stuff you've been talking about, right? And again, like, we're sitting here chatting over some tequila and beers, you know what I mean? And yeah, sure, we've had our experiences and we've met a lot of folks in our time and talking good about each other here, but I mean it, dude. You have a very, very unique approach to life, and it comes from a sense, in my opinion, of positive confidence that I haven't seen in anybody else. Whatever it is that puts that together, I'd sure like to figure out, what that is and suck it out of you and like inject that into the rest of the community in some way. And that's my hope, in some form or fashion in this conversation, that some folks will tap into this and think, man, this dude has a view on life and maybe even each moment on how to get to a place, knows how to make the choices, put things in place, rigorously speaking, and make life decisions that get them to the next thing and have a positive attitude about it, but send it with confidence. That send it attitude, where does the confidence come from? Because a lot of us fall short there, my brah.
Yeah,
Me, not so much. I have this confidence level, right? I don't know where it comes from.
You can talk to anyone, man.
Do you know what I mean, though?
Yep.
Like, I don't know where that confidence comes from, because it's not that common. I mean, look, I'll cut this part out. Is it being a big dick style, brother? You know what I mean? Is that what it is?
Big dick energy around here.
Yeah, big dick energy around here. But no, it's not that. It's something. It's something. It's the essence of a person.
I don't know, man. I still got a lot to figure out in regards to myself.
We all do, my bro.
And that excites me. I I haven't done too much soul searching, really. I mean, I'm always thinking about a lot of things, but I still haven't. And I'm only 24. I still don't know what the fuck I want to do with my life.
I'm working it out too, and I'm 40, bro.
You know, like, you know, and thank you, Logan, man. I thank you for all the kind words there, man. And
Can I just say one thing? You don't need to know what you're gonna do or what you're gonna be. It's the journey and the experience that matters,
it's the
bro.
journey, man.
And that's what I think you're after. What I believe is that the experience is the value added to life. And if you are open and willing and confident about your ability to survive and tackle and your capabilities as a smart, capable person, you're willing to fail to win. You're willing to lose or get hurt to score big in the experience. And if that experience outweighs the loss, or maybe it's worth losing everything for the experience, then so be it, because you're in it to win in the experience. That's my approach. I don't know if that relates to you.
Yeah. You know, I do a good job of keeping in mind that tomorrow could be the last day, that today could be the last day, that it raises not concern, but it's hard. Some people have a hard time, and I've had relationships in my life where people have a hard time of thinking like that, and I've always been able to take it a bit slow and just realize, like, hey, like, we're lucky to be here. We're lucky to have this time on this planet floating through space with all these resources that allow us to live and life to progress. Like, I've been able to do a good job of keeping that in mind. And I think that helps me on my overall approach on how I go about life. And there again, you know, touching back to the journey, I've had a great one. I've had a very fortunate journey, and I've done a lot of good things. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've been able to learn throughout that journey. And again, wrapping back to the information that you're given in today, and being able to absorb that information, realize what you want to take in, and apply that to tomorrow. You know,
Dude, so what's in all that, man? We're talking energy, we're talking path, we're talking confidence, and we're talking, like, that's that good juju that we carry around with us, man. We need more of that. We need more of that in this socioeconomic weird environment that we're in. And we're not going to get into politics and like that shit here. That's not what we do. But there's a lot of people out there right now that are feeling it. They're not as blessed and fortunate as we are by any shape, way, form, fashion. You know what I mean?
A lot of people.
There's a lot of people that are hurting. A lot of people that are sick.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people that are feeling it hard and heavy. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, personally, it's not me. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I've got someone close to me now that's going through it. Just as close as it could be. Not that it doesn't affect me. It does. It does affect me, you know? But like you, I keep this mindset of positivity. And I keep this mindset that whatever it is, we get to choose. Kind of like what we were talking about. We get to choose our attitude. We get to choose our mood. We get to choose our approach. We don't always get to choose how we come into this life. We don't always have a choice about what happens to us, but we do get to choose if we believe we are a victim or if we believe we are a part of the community and a part of the earth, rooted among the rest of us as a community of peoples or living things, a species or a living thing. I think it's beyond species because I see the animals and the plants as my friends. They're my buds.
It's all connected, yeah.
You know, we've been talking a lot about us, a lot about our relationship, a lot about our perspective, kind of, you know, the fun stuff, the real life in this body, in this vessel kind of experiences, which are very surreal, if you will. This is what we got. We got this body. We have this mind, which is the body. The brain is just another organ like your gut, you know, like your thumb.
Yep.
It's just the mind. If you just so happen to be born with all of yours. So that's what you were, given or born with, or, you know, this is what you are. And the things that happen to us, or the things that we experience, maybe, are two very different ways of looking at this gig. You know what I mean? This life gig.
It's time that we're given.
I don't know who's giving it, and that's why I steer away from that given. It's just the experience, you know. I'm certainly blessed. Whatever the folks listening or watching and whatever you believe in, whether it's a gift of God or the gods or the universe or whatever, I think it's all, bear with me, folks, not the same to maybe everyone, but to me it's kind of the same, right? We are here. We are doing this thing together. That's the important part. We're doing this gig together. And the reason I am so fond of you is because of the mood, the attitude, the stoke, the fucking send it that you bring to the experience, man. Fire it up. We're going to take it on the fucking chin. For sure. And if you're not taking it on the chin, good for you. I'm not going to say you're not doing anything, but the more you do, the more times you're going to take it on the chin. We get to choose our attitude. And look, man, people are dealt a challenging hand in this gig. Metaphysically speaking, psychologically speaking, orientationally speaking, we didn't get the choice at birth or spawn or sperm to be born in San Diego County or the dirt, smuck, and mud of Southeast Texas, or the belly of a mother with AIDS in Africa. We don't get that option to choose.
It's a crazy thing.
Man, it's a crazy thing, dude. So here we are as these super fortunate, white, privileged people. Yeah. And we came back this time as people instead of a fucking squirrel, if you believe in that. You know what I'm saying? A living organism.
Yeah.
That paradise palm over there.
If you look at the all the possible things that you could have been, and then you look at the vast space, I mean, there's some very smart individuals looking into the vast space that our planet's floating through, and the numbers are outstanding. I mean, it's bizarre.
He said the numbers are outstanding,
it's
you guys.
Crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. I mean, I'm not saying I know anything about it. I mean, but you listen in and you read on things. I mean, the statistics are wild, man. I mean, how many stars are out there, planetary system? I mean, it is wild. And the fact that we got to be created and come to life on a planet that allows life to progress and evolve. And then out of all the million living organisms that are on this planet, however many there may be, we got to become the one that can use its brain in the most advanced way.
Best fucking problem solvers on planet
Dude.
universe. On planet universe. In the freaking universe, dude.
It's amazing.
We've discovered nothing more
so
capable
lucky.
than
And
ourselves.
it's really easy to get out of touch with that. It's very easy. It's very
How
easy.
close are you to this every day? How close are you to this daily?
I need to be closer. I have a life that's it's full. I wake up, I got things to do, I got work to do. I need to get better at finding the time to slow it down on a real level, and get in touch with the fact that, hey, I get to wake up, open my eyes, and I can comprehend the things that I see, and I get to use my tongue to say things, and I can express myself, and I can connect with people on a level that brings me joy, and I can feel all these things. I mean, it's such a concept, and we live in this life where it's just this norm. It's just this norm where we wake up and we're so taken over by all these tasks and all these things that consume humans, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way we've evolved, and that's the way we live our lives. I'm not saying there's anything particularly wrong with living a busy life, but what I'm saying is, for me, I think that I could do better at slowing things down and appreciating that, how lucky I am to be given this time and this consciousness.
I think you do a good job, and I think that rigor of surf moments that help you connect to your creative moments in the evening is your way. I think that's your way. I can learn from that, you know?
Yeah. You got to stay connected. I mean, it's all connected. Like I said, we're not getting into things too much, but it's all connected. Everything here. And I still have a lot to figure it out, which I'm sure everybody does, on essentially, what you believe and what you think, and I think that plays into a lot of your daily approach on life.
I do too.
Has a lot to do with that.
And not only, I'm going to break it down a little further.
Please do.
Not only your daily, but your momentary.
Yeah.
Every second,
Yeah.
maybe even every thought, maybe in every feeling.
Yeah.
Every half breath. We are surrounded by distractions. We choose that because society defines that, because our conditioning defines that. Generations, the hundreds of years of mechanizing things, producing and manufacturing things. We're going in a direction that I believe is every single second, day, purchase, investment, algorithm that's developed to help us get closer to influence our community or others is a manipulation of the essence of what we were intended to be. I view it as a reality that is difficult to escape due to the structure of our current ways of working within democracy, within every other type of government, within the systems and programs that we've created, just like your daily program that you've created for yourself. But I think that some of us are closer to, or at least trying to be, or open to being closer connected with the essence of what we are here to be, not do. Right? Are we humans doing or humans being? Because I've heard a lot of doing. I hear a lot of doing.
Usually what you read about.
I see a lot of doing. I am successful. I have made $1 million in my first year. I'm the youngest millionaire. I have my Ferrari. I have my this, I have my that, I do this is my job. This is why I enter into these conversations without bullet points and I don't introduce my guests, because I truly believe that the value exists in the experience. Yo, fuck your bullet points.
Yeah.
You know, and I got a lot of them. That's not a bragging right for me. Yes, I'm proud of them, but that's some ego shit. That's some stupid ego shit, and I'm calling myself out for that. And I'm trying every day to get farther and farther away from that. That doesn't make me any better or worse than the next person, but I am absolutely proud of that choice that I'm making, because we were talking a lot about choice before. To choose that time in the water gets you closer there. It opens your eyes, it opens your body, it opens your soul to something that allows you to see things in a more creative sense. Where does your creativity come from in life, do you think?
You know, I have a hard time seeing myself as a creative person.
You're one of the most creative people I know, and that's what
I know,
say,
and
bro.
I struggle with it. But I think I'm on a path where the creativity is going to start to flow again, and I don't necessarily think it comes from it comes from the journey. It comes from what I've been through and seeing things a bit different. And I think every creative has its own every creative has their own, you know, individualized way of looking at something. You know, just the way that you look at that painting different, or Dave looks at that painting different, or
We definitely look at those paintings differently at first.
I mean, Dave's paintings are something else.
They really are.
I fucking love them. You know, the creative struggle has been real for me lately. I spend a lot of time in my day-to-day job pushing out deliverables that take creativity, sell sheets, website work, you know, web development, product design. A lot of creativity goes into these things on the daily, and I've had a struggle throughout the past year or so of being able to find time to find my own creative flow. And it's there. You know, I think it's always there. It's just nurturing it and letting it flow and finding that headspace and that time to get weird with it, you know. And the circumstances that I've had in the past, however, you know, I just had to allocate some time to other things, and I haven't really been able to nurture that creative left side brain of mine. And I'm excited for the time coming up to where I can focus on that a little bit more.
I just had a thought as you were talking about this. This is the value of conversations that I fucking adore.
Hell yeah.
I think that there are phases in life that we go through where we must be in control of more than we typically are. I think that we go through also, on the flip side of that same coin, we go through phases in life where we can allow ourselves to be ultimately vulnerable to...
Vulnerability is a huge part of it in this day and age.
To be vulnerable allows you to open and expand not only your mind, but all of your senses, in my opinion. Because we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to be taken advantage of, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? We all feel that in life, and are we seeking hurt and pain? And are we? No, because that doesn't feel good in the moment. And this is what I wanted to come back to, that I was talking to Dave about recently, and I was walking through the rain on PCH. I chose to leave the house while it was dumping rain and walk without a jacket, without anything, just through the rain. And I was taking my phone calls, I was taking meetings, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to let the phone get wet. Whatever happens, happens. If I can't call him back, so be it.
It's a beautiful thing.
But to know what was at risk was to allow it to be vulnerable to whatever could or might happen and not give a heck. You know?
Yeah.
And in that moment, what was at risk? A conversation? A decision? A pivotal moment in someone else's day where they needed to be in touch with me and I needed to be there for them? Sure. all of that stuff was at risk. I was going to get wet. I was going to have to get my shoes dirty. I might get cold. But I might get sick. You know? All these things. But to be open to that, I'm going to just say that might have been the best conversations and the best decisions. And I had the most, how it felt so good to have the conversations I was having and not give a fuck about what was going on around me, because I allowed myself to be vulnerable in a moment, to be wet, to be cold, to be all these things and not care.
Accepting that accepting that chaos.
Yeah. Allow it in. So what if I get hurt? So what if the risks exist? Okay. Allowing it, to know that it's going to be okay regardless of if I get cold or wet or have to dry this off or do whatever. Or maybe my phone gets wet. Okay, so stupid example maybe, but what I'm trying to say is that if you put it out there, the best, most beautiful outcomes come from the most challenging or painful experiences. And that is not a challenging or painful experience, but it's a very light day-to-day example of what you can do to allow yourself to be vulnerable in a moment where you can see things from an entirely different perspective by making a choice to what? Do it differently. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Opens your mind, your body, and your senses to see things from a different perspective, and then shows you I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but it allows nature to seep its way, it allows all the things around you to make its way in. You take your walls down. You forget about the risks. You don't forget about them, but you allow them in intentionally, with intent. And that forces you to accept it. And whatever it is in your mind or body, in my mind, it is the risk of getting wet or hurt. But the experience was epic. Coming back full circle to what we were talking about before, an approach to life, confidence, your positive attitude, your willingness to experience life, the cinders, the willingness to be embarrassed on Instagram, or the willingness to look like a fool in front of your friends.
Talk about full circle, man. It comes back to evolution, pushing yourself, getting out of that comfortable realm. And growing, you know, and growing. Yeah, I mean, a bike jump's not a good example of evolution, but comfort doesn't necessarily. I don't like the word or the saying that comfort is dangerous, or comfort kills, or comfort stops you from excelling. Comfort's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing, finding comfort in your life and in a space where you can be comfortable with someone in a space, and I think a little bit of that is needed in the balance of things, but also realizing where some of that comfort might be holding you back and keeping you from pushing to that next level and finding that next thing that you didn't know about yourself. And then you find out and you grow, and then, wrapping back to full circle, you got this network of people around you where you learn something, and you teach something, and you help people around you, and you just, so full circle back to evolving and just being pushed, being comfortable can be a dangerous thing. Is really what I'm trying to say, and I've learned that.
Super.
I've learned that in the last few years, that comfort, and maybe there's a time and a place for it. I mean, when you're 65, you want to be comfortable. When you're 7, when you're, for every individual is different, obviously, but as a young guy, still trying to figure out who he is and what he wants to do and how he wants to make an impact on the people in his life and on the world if possible. I've learned in the last few years through a lot of experiences and a lot of things and a lot of relationships that comfortable could hold you back. Comfort can hold you back, and accepting the chaos of what life is. It's really chaos. I mean, the grand scheme of things, we don't have a lot of control. Yeah, we got choices. We get to wake up and choose what we do every day and how do we approach things and again what we absorb and what we apply to our life. But the grand scheme of things, we're really we don't have a lot of control, and accepting that and taking on that chaos and letting that change you and make you better. It's a beautiful thing. And
you don't get to choose if you wake up tomorrow. I'll put it that straightforward, bro.
Yeah.
Do you choose comfort the day before? Or do you choose chaos the day before? Do you know what the day before is? Do you know when the last day is? You don't. So in a life of guaranteed unknown future events, particularly now, it is a fact. And it is we are more aware now that we are not in control.
Yeah.
Biologically speaking, than ever.
Yeah, I mean, awareness and balance, being aware of these things that, we're on a rock floating through space and there's this there's so much to it. Just the luck, again, wrapping back to the fact that we got to be born with this brain that we got in our head and that we get to, experience this time and this life the way we get to experience and feel things and change things and touch things and really feel, we get to feel things. It's really what it comes down to, being able to feel. And in finding that balance in your day-to-day life where, I got these responsibilities and I'm going to do what it takes to manage the responsibilities and make sure that my life's on a good path in respect to the way that I've been cultivated to think the way my life should go. I grew up and the morals were engraved to me, and I grew up in this society that tells me to do these things and this is how you're supposed to live your life, which obviously I've accepted, and that a lot, the majority of us accepted that, hey, this is how you got to run your program. This is what you got to do if you want a comfortable life. You got to go to work and you got to pay your bills and you got to pay for that water to come through your fridge.
You got some obligations, some boxes to check.
Yeah, the responsibility is you can't avoid it. You got to do it. You gotta take the steps to make sure you're responsible for the things in your life that allow you to be and provide this medium of balance that allows you to live your life. And then once you find that medium of balance and you're able to live this life in the way that not necessarily 100% the way you want it to be, but a way that it's going to be. Obviously, a lot of us, you always want more. Finding this ability to operate and live life, but also finding this balance to stay in touch and realize that, hey, again, wrapping back to space, hey, we can get hit by this asteroid tomorrow. Yeah, it in the grand scheme of things, it's really just being able to find that balance of operating on a level that allows you to operate in the type of program that you want and staying in touch with nature and the grand scheme of things of how lucky we are to be doing what we're doing.
I feel that hard, but sometimes I just want to pew into an atom and just experience all the shit that's going on around me. Mm-hmm. Be sucked into someone else's breath and spit out and experience something else. I know this is fucking kook shit right now, but dude, we get this physical form as whatever, call it a gift, call it whatever. But sometimes, we have these obligations. We have our schedule. I got to be there. I got to be up. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that comfort would be just to float. Yeah. Just to float around and experience life, you guys. That's the dream, bruh. As a kid, running naked down the beach.
It's different nowadays.
Digging holes.
It's different. I mean, a lot of people
Like
back.
the puppy dog that's like, just digging a hole in the sand and chasing the ball everywhere. Can I come back like that, dude? Like not the abused fighting pit. Can I just come back as like the golden dude that gets to dig holes in the sand with some retired old dude like Dave?
Maybe you do.
Yeah.
Maybe you do.
I'm shooting to be a great fucking guy so that my karma gets that version next.
You want to be a golden doodle?
Yeah.
Digging holes.
That would be awesome. How happy is every golden doodle you've seen?
Be owned by some hot smoke. Just
smokestack. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Thanks for chatting on the experience, man. But I think what it boils down to, I mean, a lot of things. It doesn't boil down to a single thing, honestly. It's not a linear equation. It's not that way. We have this big open, what we've been talking about is we have an open mind. And the most important thing that I take away from our relationship, dude, and all the stuff we've been talking about is a choice. We have a choice to look at life. We don't have it figured out, folks. No. We don't have it figured out. It is so obvious how far off we are.
Very much so.
It is more obvious now than ever how far off we are from having it figured out. But if someone along the way could give us the one answer to all of our questions, would that solve it?
It'd kill it.
I think so. That's a cool response I haven't heard before, but I like that. I was discussing and have been really geeking out on a very core principle about humanity and the reason that we do or don't get along with each other. And I think what we've been discussing here in general is we all have this or these questions and ambitions. And an ambition is an open-ended thing to achieve, right? Achieve what? I mean, we all think we have the answer, or we may not know the answer super clear, but we have this intent or we have a goal, and it's all defined by our conditioning, where we grew up, who raised us, our drive, kind of, are we creative, not creative, all these things. It's the least linear equation possible that we can fathom. And
rudimentary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, very much so. Instinctive and rudimentary. Yeah, exactly. And the question, I think, is super easy for us to discuss with a fucking fat smile on our face over beers and tequila. But when we hang on to an answer that begins to formally define something we believe, and when we think we have the answers, that separates me from you. Unless we agree. But we don't always agree, because we're looking at things in our own lens, our own experiences, and our own everything. Yeah. And I think at the core of our existence as a problem-solving species, not like a dog, not like a squirrel. Granted, they have to solve problems like eat, sleep, drink, but not the same kind of way that we require consciousness and our ability to problem solve as humans. We're constantly problem, which is a question, solving, which is the answer. The problem, which is the question, is not the issue. That's actually what we all share, and it unites us. It's the answers that we believe, the gods we create, the religions we define, that separate us and create wars and conflict. But one thing that's a guarantee is that we share a question, many of them, as humans. And we're trying to, I believe, connect with each other in a way. And there's many, many, many different approaches to that. And the reason that I celebrate you, bro, is that your approach is solid and it's always send it for the experience in a positive way. Cheers to you for that, bro.
Cheers, bud.
Up in the sky. I said I'm up in the sky. I'm playing my strings, and I love to sing. Hey.